Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, welcome. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you why mindfulness practices are so important for childhood well-being, mental health, child development in general, and even why they're important for parents. First, I really just wanted to talk about why it's so hard to sit with our thoughts. For many of us, regardless of if we're parents, sitting with our thoughts can be like such an overwhelming task, a challenge even. And, we're constantly thinking about what's to come. We're thinking about the future, and we're constantly thinking about what has already happened. But we can never truly be in the present moment with ourselves. It's hard. We're constantly thinking about planning ahead and what's next, or, should I really have made this decision? All of these factors have an effect on why we can't stay focused and put our attention to what's currently at task. So what does mindfulness have to do with focusing on the present anyways? Put simply, mindfulness is just an awareness of ourself, our thoughts, our emotions, our bodily sensations even, and our surrounding environment. It is like the mental state that we achieve when we do focus on that present moment. So that's how mindfulness relates to, actually being present and being focused on what's happening right now. So why do we care, and what does all of this mean? Mindfulness offers a tremendous amount of benefits for both children and adults. In children, it can help with decreasing attention problems like seen in ADHD. It can help with, coping with the effects of bullying. It can help with improving our social skills if practiced consistently, and overall it increases our well-being and mental health. So overall, it's a practical way to get in touch with our bodies, our emotions, and the way we're feeling. And for kids, even more so now that they're struggling with all of these new emotions and how to cope and manage these new emotions. So there are simple practices for kids. It's going to be different for every age, but there are simple things that they can do to help them be better equipped to manage those emotions in the future, alongside other things that you do at home. But mindfulness is just an overarching theme that can improve lots of areas of their life, not just dealing with their emotions. So it's more broader term than that, and a little bit more approachable for parents as well. But like I said, mindfulness practices will vary depending on the age of the child. So it's really important to take that into consideration when trying to look for techniques to try, because, for example, preschoolers and toddlers have very short attention spans. And, they can't even focus on small tasks. So how can you expect them to, sit in meditation or do something like that? So for them, easy things like practicing with food, with colors, with music, I found this really cool idea that someone shared with me, making a jar and filling it with, some kind of glitter, and just watching them, they can shake the jar and then watch the dust settle. So that's kind of like a metaphor for like how their internal state works. So if you're just sitting peacefully and quietly thinking to yourself, eventually all of those sprinkles inside of you will settle and you'll feel a little bit better or more at ease. Pictures and movements, simple dance movements can also help with that. Those are really great exercises for preschoolers and toddlers. On the other hand, when you get to school-age children, they're beginning to get into that sense of independency and personal power. So it might seem more like a chore when you ask them to incorporate mindfulness practices. So for them, they like doing things that help them feel a little bit more powerful. So that could be like pretending to be their favorite character or their favorite superhero, or something like doing poses, or, anything that will help them feel strong and confident. But getting into that feeling of not focusing on a task or what's to come, but just being themselves and being present in that character. For adolescents and teenagers, this can be a lot more difficult, especially if they haven't been practicing it from a young age. Now they're getting even more into their personal power and state of independent nature, so they're kind of not going to want to stick to something that you're telling them to do, especially if it's, it's for your health, it'll make you feel better, blah, blah, blah. They're not going to want to listen to it. So the best thing to do with that is trying to educate them on the benefits of mindfulness techniques and hope in some way that they'll come to that conclusion that they should be practicing it on their own. Now, there are plenty of free resources out there for you to check out with your kids on games and activities that incorporate mindfulness techniques. There are so many creative moms out there who have, and psychologists and doctors and everybody all over the place who are coming up with ideas to add into your daily routine or weekly routine or yearly routine, whatever the case is. There's some crafty people out there, I'm not going to lie. But today I'm going to be sharing with you a few things that I think would be really helpful, especially if you're just starting out, because I know this world of mindfulness can be, kind of intense and overwhelming at first. So I'm just going to share with you a few simple things that I think are going to be really beneficial. So a great thing to do is practicing noticing and naming sensations happening in the body. And this can work when they're feeling some type of emotion. So when they're angry, upset, anxious, excited even, a great thing to do is asking questions like, how does your body feeling right now? Can you name something in the body that you can describe for me right now? They could say things like, my chest feels warm, or my stomach feels tight, or I can feel my heartbeat even. So these are things just to start getting them to realize and become aware of what's going on in their body and how it's affecting the way they're feeling, or if it's their feeling that's affecting the way their body is reacting. Another great technique is practicing mindful posing. It doesn't have to be a whole stretch of yoga. Yoga's great too, but mindfulness posing is really just stretching and really becoming aware of where your body is, how flexible you are with your body. And this can happen at any time during the day. You can make it something that you guys do every morning, or a midday break, or even in the evenings if that's what you prefer. But it's a great way to get your children to become aware of what their bodies are capable of, simply put. Another great thing you can do is become aware of your surroundings. So I'd like you to encourage your kids to pause at least for 5 minutes a day and tune into their 5 senses. So they can be sitting, and I know this is going to be difficult, especially for young ones, but if you have them pay attention to certain things that are happening in their body, they won't feel so bored, I guess, the best way to put it. Because kids don't really like sitting and doing nothing. So if you have them pay attention to, what do you see right now? What do you feel? Are your hands sweaty? Are they cold? Are they hot? What's the taste like in your mouth right now? What do you hear? Anything like that gets them, brings them back into the present moment and gets them paying attention to what's going on in their bodies, helping them get attuned to the present moment. Counting your breaths, that's a great one, especially when kids are when they're throwing a tantrum or they're feeling really angry or anxious even. This is a great way to help them calm their nerves and practice an exercise that they can use on their own to help them calm themselves down. So when they're angry, you can sit them down and say, let's breathe together, let's count 10 breaths together, 1, 2, and then continue with that. If they're feeling anxious, same thing. This is a great way to help them be able to do it on their own. And hopefully this is something they can bring into, cases that they encounter in the future that they will be able to go through on their own. Another thing is taking a walk together. I know it seems so simple, but if you pay attention to your surroundings on your walk and ask questions like, what do you see? How many of these things can you count? And have them really pay attention to their surroundings, not even just what you're talking about on the walk. Because sometimes I go for walks and I don't even know how I ended up there. Are you ever walking and think so in your head about something that you're just like, how did I walk this far? That happens to me way too many times. So sometimes I just like to take a walk and, do something with my surroundings. I'll count the trees or anything that helps me stay attentive with my surroundings and the environment around me, because it's so important. We can't just be so in our heads all the time. We have to be paying attention to what's happening around us. So this is a great way for kids to exercise that kind of viewpoint. Lastly, I just wanted to briefly touch upon how you as well can be practicing mindfulness and be their role model for them, because they're really not going to be wanting to practice these things if you don't believe in the concept too. How can you expect them to if you don't believe in it yourself? So I really encourage you to do some of these activities with your kids. I think it'll be fun, entertaining for the both of you, and I hope you guys both see the results in the end, because I think it can have a tremendous impact on, their mental health, their well-being, and overall their development. But with all that being said, I'm going to end the video here. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I really hope you guys got some use out of this video. I hope you start implementing some of these practices. I really do think that they'll be of use to you, and hopefully something that you kind of can incorporate now into your routine, that maybe most of you have a little bit more free time on your hands. You're not so busy, preoccupied thinking about the kids' schoolwork. So this is something that you guys can both delve into together if you haven't practiced any kind of mindfulness practices before. I just wanted to quickly announce also that my blog channel, which is always linked below, has already an article about this topic. So if you prefer to read about it, that's okay too. Or if you missed something that I talked about it, it'll be all there. I also wanted to announce that slots for the free one-to-one consult with me are opening up. And if you like to see if you'd qualify to work with me and see if we're a good fit, I encourage you to use the link down below. And with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Bye.